Welcome to the Digital Remodeler podcast. I'm so glad you've chosen to join us today. Today's episode is called The Silence of the Agents: Why Your Next Client May Never Find You the Old Way. So, at the end of March of this year, Google CEO Sundar Pichai did an hour-long interview talking about the future of search. In this interview, he did not mention websites. He did not mention the map pack. In fact, it's what he didn't say that spoke louder than what he did say. He did not mention the contractors, the remodelers, the insurance agents, the local florist, the restaurant. He did not mention the real estate agents or any other local business that has built their entire digital presence on the assumption that humans are the ones doing the searching. What he did describe was a world where AI agents are doing the searching for us. And it's in that silence, in everything that Mr. Pichai did not say, that the most important shift in local marketing in the last decade began to take shape. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. That's why I've entitled today's episode The Silence of the Agents. It's actually based on a manifesto that I recently published, something we put together after watching this Google interview and sitting with what it actually means to our clients. And if you've not read this manifesto, feel free to reach out to me. You can do that at my email address, which is in the description of this episode. Simply send me an email and say, Carl, I would like a copy of Silence of the Agents, and I will send that to you directly. The manifesto is not a prediction. I want to be very clear about that. In fact, some of the things we're going to talk about today, Google has begun to roll out. In fact, this last week they began to roll out some of the very things Mr. Pichai discussed in his interview. It's actually a reading of what has already happened in this interview and what it signals about where local search is going. And by the end of today's episode, you're going to understand why the playbook that got you where you are today may not get you where you need to go tomorrow, and more importantly, what you need to do about it right now. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. What did Pichai actually say in this interview? Well, here's the context. Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, gave a long interview, about an hour long, and a lot of it covered AI search and the future of the company. Remember, the SEO world picked it up and wrote some pieces on it and then moved on. But I didn't move on because I'm a student of what Google is doing, because Google pays attention to what's happening, and not only do they pay attention, they dominate what's happening. Because when you strip away the polish and all of the corporate language, there are a few things that he said that are genuinely alarming. And if you are a local business depending on search to generate leads, you need to pay attention. Here's the first one. He said, and I am quoting directly here, a lot of what are just information-seeking queries will be agentic search. You will be completing tasks. You have many threads running. So let's take a minute to unpack this. Agentic search, completing tasks, multiple threads. What he's describing is a world where you don't search anymore, your AI does. You give it a goal, it runs the search. or multiple searches simultaneously. It finds the answer and it brings back to you the information or the result or the answer that you're seeking. But here's the thing I want you to understand. You never even see the search results page. Let that sink in. No more listings of blue links, no more data for you to filter through. The AI agent has done that for you. It is going to serve you up one answer. Now, let me give you a couple of scenarios here. I started using AI agents very heavily at the beginning of March. I built an OpenClaw AI agent for myself. His name is Jeeves. He's my butler, if you will. Since I began using Jeeves, I would say my website usage is down approximately 60%. I give Jeeves a task. Jeeves, go do this. Jeeves, go research this. Jeeves, go make this happen. Jeeves comes back to me. Jeeves and I talk on Telegram. Jeeves tells me the task is done. Here's the way I did it. Here's what I found. Here's the information. What would you like me to do with it? Jeeves, here's what I want you to do. That's one of the things that happened. Second thing that happened. A week ago, ChatGPT released agents. For my team in-house, on our Monday training call, I created an agent. And I deployed that agent on our training call on Monday, and I gave it an assignment. And on that assignment, I gave it the task, I wanted to remodel my kitchen. I wanted to remodel my kitchen with a center island, quartz countertops, glass top, cooking surface. I wanted to have high-end appliances put into my kitchen. I wanted to have new tile flooring put in. I wanted to have new custom cabinetry built. I wanted to have under cabinet lighting, and I wanted to have high-end fixtures put in. And I wanted to find a remodeler who would do that work, and I wanted to know who the best remodeler to do that work for me was. And I put the AI agent to work doing that task. Now, in my particular city, there are approximately 50 remodeling companies who could do that work. The AI agent came back with one recommendation, 3 runners up. And we watched how the AI agent came to that conclusion. Never once did we look at any websites. Never once did we look at a Google business profile. Never once did we look at a review page, but we watched where all the agent went. This is important. So, that's something I want you to understand. It wasn't us looking at any websites. It wasn't us looking at any review pages. It wasn't us looking at any pictures. It was the AI agent doing it, and it's the way I'm using Jeeves as well. The second thing he said was this. He used an example of someone coming out of the subway in New York, which, I don't know, maybe a little disconnected from the rest of us. I live in Wichita, Kansas. There is no subway system here. But the point was, in the old world, you search, you get a web page, but in Pichai's vision, the AI summarizes. The web page becomes a data point in the response. It is no longer the response itself. It's simply a point of data for the AI to grab information and bring that information back to the user. Read that again. It is a data point. It is not the destination. Not even something the user necessarily sees. And then the most revealing moment, he described the search box itself. And I really want you to listen to this and really understand it. Google search, the thing that built the entire company as an agent manager, That's how he described it. Listen to this again. He described the search box itself, the Google search bar, the thing that we know Google for, as an agent manager, something that manages multiple AI agents doing tasks on your behalf. That is a massive shift in how to think about what Google even is. Now, let me blow your mind with this. Last week, Google rolled this out in 2 places. They rolled it out on Google Flights. It is in beta mode now. In beta mode on Google Flights, there is now a Google search box that is now AI driven. It is an AI agent. You tell it where you want to fly. You give it your parameters. It returns one answer. You no longer see the flight schedules that you sort through, different airlines, different times, different prices. It comes back to you with, here's your best flight option and the price. They also did that on restaurants. It lists your best option, the dining times. You can click one and reserve your table. It'll give you generally 1 or 2 of those options and 2 or 3 runners up. They are rolling that out. They are getting you accustomed to that. It's already here. On my Google search bar, just my normal Google search bar, over the weekend, they also dropped the deep research button underneath it, and they dropped the nano banana image creation bar underneath it. Google began rolling these pieces out last week. So he's not just describing something way down the road. Google is already rolling these changes out. Now, I want to be fair. He also gave himself a 10-year horizon, which is classic executive escape hatch talk. By the time anyone holds him to this, the technology will have moved on. But here's the thing, he's already set the direction. He's stated the intent, but Google's already shown us in the last week they are moving forward. And we've heard internal Google reps discussing with some of our clients, big things are coming, and they're coming quickly. And the early versions of it, as I mentioned in the last week, are already happening. So the question is not whether this comes, the question is whether you are already ready and positioned when it gets here. Are you making the right adjustments so that you're prepared? Now, that's what Pichai said. The more important piece is what he didn't say. And this is what I find even more revealing. It's where he was silent. See, the interview ran over an hour, and in that hour, he did not once mention the businesses that depend on Google search to survive. He did not mention the advertising model that generates the vast majority of Google's revenue. He did not explain what happens to Google Ads, to local service ads, or the map pack in a world where AI agents are doing the searching. And these are not small questions, they are existential questions for the entire local marketing industry. There's 4 things that he didn't address. How Google makes money when AI agents search, because agents don't click ads. He didn't address why Google wins. There's nothing in his vision that explains why OpenAI's or Anthropic's agent doesn't become the default instead. A little side note, this last weekend, Google made a $40 billion commitment to invest in Anthropic. Just a month behind this interview. He didn't mention what happens to the content economy. If AI agents summarize everything without humans reading it, who produces content? And he didn't mention the surveillance architecture required, because for an AI to act on your behalf, it needs to know everything about you. Just a few things he didn't mention. Let's talk about these and break them down a little bit. Let's focus on this first one because it's the one that should concern you the most as a local business. The entire Google Ads model. Pay-per-click, local service ads, all of it is built on a human being somewhere in the loop. A human searches, a human sees the results, a human clicks. That's when Google gets paid. An AI agent doesn't click, an AI agent decides. It evaluates options from its data sources and returns a recommendation. No click, no auction, no ad impression. And here's the part nobody in the industry wants to say out loud. There's nothing in Pichai's vision that guarantees Google's agent is the one that wins. Perplexity is already doing agentic search. ChatGPT is doing agentic search. The insurance industry, the construction industry, there's no reason a vertical specific AI platform couldn't become the default recommendation engine for your category before Google figures out its model. See, the map is being redrawn, and the businesses that don't notice or that wait for Google to send them an email explaining the change are going to feel it before they understand it. So, what does this mean? The lead may not come from Google search. It came from a data architecture that the AI trusted. And what's been interesting when I demonstrated the ChatGPT agent, the ChatGPT agent didn't necessarily choose Google's architecture to gather its information. So we need to understand, what does the data architecture look like? What makes a business legible to a machine that's never seen a human searcher? Well, let me give you a few things that matter right now. First of all, it's entity clarity over reputation management. AI agents aren't impressed by star ratings. They're evaluating the consistency and completeness of your data footprint across the entire web. Your name, your address, your phone number, are they identical on every platform, every directory, every mention? Not just close, but identical. Inconsistency is invisible to humans, but it is a disqualifier to AI. Second, ecosystem completeness over individual platform optimization. It's not enough to have a great Google business profile. If your data is fragmented everywhere else, it destroys the whole thing. The AI draws from a knowledge graph that aggregates signals from dozens of sources. So partial data is a partial signal. You need the whole picture, the complete picture, everywhere. Third is structure over content. This is a mindset shift, and you've got to get this. The question used to be, does my website have good content? The question now is my business legible to a machine? You got to think like the machine. That means structured data, clean entity signals, consistent categorization. Content strategy has to account for machine readers, not just human readers. You've got to be thinking both directions. And then fourth, new metrics for paid advertising. And this one is uncomfortable. If AI agents are doing more of the searching, then cost per click starts to lose meaning. The lead may not come with a click attached. That means attribution starts to break. And the way we've been measuring success in paid channels has to evolve. Not away from paid, but towards metrics that account for how an agent mediated conversion that actually works. You're going to have to factor in that agent mediation into your conversion metrics. So the way we're thinking through this in our own thought process is that complete buyer journey. We've been thinking through this for a long time because we realize that in today's world, that buyer journey is multiple step, multiple modality. They may encounter you one place, but then take a multi-platform, multi-step journey with you before they ever convert. It's not a singular step anymore. And so we've got to figure this in to our thought process anymore. I was talking today with a potential client that is advertising on Major League Sports networks and talking about the fact that they may see your initial message there, but here's what's going to happen. As soon as they see your message, guess what they're going to do? They're going to pick up their smartphone and Google you, or go to Facebook, or go to Instagram, or whatever other channel is their favorite modality, and look for you there. It's a multi-step approach, and it's going to be no different with AI agents. So I know you may be thinking, okay, Carl, this sounds a little bit theoretical. How do I actually know where I stand right now? Well, here's a test you can run right now. Do 4 things. Test 1, do the unprompted citation test. Go to ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude and type, find me a reliable, whatever your trade or service or industry is in your city. Don't include your business name. And if your business comes back unprompted without a direct search for your name, then your entity signal, your authority signal is working. If it doesn't, you don't have the expertise and authority to show up. You've got work to do. Test 2 is your name, address, and authority consistency. Go look at your business listing on Google, Yelp, the Better Business Bureau, and 3 or 4 local directories. If you're in construction and remodeling, home building, go look at House, Angie's. Is your name, address, and phone number exactly the same on all of them? And when I say exactly the same, if it's street, is it spelled out, or is it ST period? If there's a suite number, is it spelled suite, SUITE, or is it STE period? Is there a comma? How is it? Is it exactly the same, not exactly the same, approximately the same, different phone number? Is the phone number, does it have brackets around it? Different formats, different abbreviations, any variation at all? That is fragmentation, and it will cost you in the AI world. Test 3 is your knowledge panel. Search your business name directly in Google. Do you get a knowledge panel? That's the box on the right side of the results page with your info. Photos, reviews. Is it complete? Is it accurate? That means Google's AI understands your entity. Is it categorized correctly? If it's incomplete or if it's absent, that means there's an unclear signal. Test for review density, recency, velocity. Star ratings matter less than you think. What matters is volume over time, because 80 reviews posted the last 24 months will outperform 200 old reviews with nothing recent and not much depth to those reviews. So recency and frequency tells AI systems that you're active, you're trustworthy, and you are operating your business. And if there is depth to those reviews, people are actually explaining why they left that review, those are more valuable. So run those 4 tests today. Do a little test, see where you stand. And that will tell you exactly what needs to be built out. Now, here's where I stand on all of this. The agencies that are competing for your attention right now are still writing 10 ways to optimize your Google business profile. What they're doing is they are selling you a map for a territory that is being redrawn. Outdated tactics. When you get those emails that say, hey, we will help you rank number 1 on Google, they're selling you a playbook that worked 4 years ago. The shift Pichai described is the reason we built the ecosystem approach the way we did. Entity clarity, consistent data across every platform, structured signals that AI systems can read. This isn't a new product we're rolling out. It's not about siloed services. This is about architecture. It's the architecture we've been building towards ever since Google moved to generative AI at the end of 2023. We doubled down on this because we saw where Google was headed. We saw where search was headed. So if you're already working with us, you're further ahead than most businesses in the market. It's the work we've been doing for the last nearly 3 years because we were looking down the road. As I laughingly tell all of our clients and prospects, I'm a child of the 80s. When the Terminator shows up, you have to have another machine. And that's the positioning we took when generative AI showed up. If you're not working with us and this episode has you thinking, the link to book your strategy session is in the show notes. We'll take a look at where you stand. We'll look at the 4 indicators we just talked about, and we'll tell you what needs to happen next. No pitch, just an honest evaluation of your situation. The question isn't whether or not the agents are coming, they're already here. The question is whether or not your business is ready to be found and whether or not you're going to even exist to the people that need your services today. And so I want to thank you for taking the time to tune in. Again, if you haven't gotten your download of the white paper, Silence of the Agents, send me an email. I'll be happy to send you a copy of that. Take time to go through it, process the information that I've given you today. Go back through some of our past episodes where we're talking about this shift to AI-driven search. And this whole agentic AI conversation is radically shifting, and it's radically shifting quickly the way search is going to happen. I'm going to leave you with this thought. It's a thought that one of my staff members asked me in our training this past week. she said, Carl, not everybody uses AI agents, so how is this going to happen? And I said, well, great question. I said, what's going to happen is just what happened with the move to generative AI answers. Everybody was still using search. Google just shifted the way search works. They're going to do the same thing with AI agent search, just like they're rolling out the beta with flights and restaurants. You're going to wake up one day and your search box is going to look different. And without you knowing it, you're going to be using agentic search on Google. It's not that you're going to quit searching. In fact, search volume is going to continue to grow. Google knows that. And Google making a $40 billion investment in Anthropic tells you something. Google is going to continue to make money. They just released their earnings. They were up 19% year over year. Google is going to control the data highway that these agents are operating on. That's where they are making their money. They've known that. They've been building AI data centers since 2016. Google is going to control the highway that this all operates on. What's going to happen is search is going to shift. You're going to see more and more of this agentic AI being rolled into your Google search environment, into your Google pieces. You're seeing Gemini being rolled into your Google Drive, into your Gmail, into your Google Workspace environment. It's just going to show up in the tools that you already use, and you will be adopting it just by default. And so you as a business owner have to realize that your end users, your homeowners, your consumers, by default are going to be migrated towards this environment, whether they like it or not, because Google is going to move that direction, as is Microsoft and all the other major players. Amazon made a $10 billion investment into Anthropic. All the major players are moving there. The question is, are you positioning your business to be found, or are you simply going to disappear? That's what the silence of the agents is all about. Thanks for tuning in today. I look forward to talking with you on our next episode.